Hello my quilting friends, Leah Day here with a new quilting tutorial. Today I'm stitching Poseidon's Eye. So you start with a long wiggly line and then you swing into a circle. And if you can't stitch that freehand, feel free to mark it on your quilt. That's just fine. Now I'm going to swirl around that circle. I'm coming all the way back. And I'm coming back with an echo, and that's going to expand that whole shape and really make it stand out nicely on your quilt. So now I'll travel stitch down and kind of space out these echoes pretty evenly, swing around with another echo, and I'm going to go around and around that circle until I get a nice spirally shape. Poseidon's Eye was definitely inspired by like the swirling water design. But I started wondering, okay, well, what if we put a circle in the center? What would that look like? And I really love the texture. This is one of my favorite designs. So I swung all the way back around with another echo, and that's looking pretty good, but I got some weird spaces down here. So I'm going to travel stitch along. Actually, and I'm going to swing out with another echo. There's always more than one. There's always more than one paths, but I think it'll look best if I swing around with another echo, nice and big, and then I'll fill in those weird gappy areas. And as you can see, this is getting pretty big. These echoes are pretty far apart, and I'm actually bringing them in closer together as I come around to connect with that circle. And that's a-okay. That's just fine. I'm going to stitch some squiggly designs in this direction, just filling in that area. So now I've got kind of a little extra fabric right here, and I've got this open space, so I'm going to take care of both at the same time. I'm going to stitch right through that baggy fabric, and that just bisects it, kind of stops it from being a problem. Swing into my circle, and now I'm going to just start building up echoes back and forth until I fill that little weird area. Just bounce against it and then bounce that way. And the nice thing about stitching that wiggly line through that kind of little tricky spot is it allows us to not have to stitch back through it again. I just did some quick travel stitching to get on the other side, and you can see all I have to do is stitch back to one of those lines, but I don't actually have to stitch over that area. A little bit of puffy fabric, who knows why it happened, but it does. And that, if you stitch over an area like that too many times, you might end up stitching a pleat into your quilt. If instead you just try and kind of avoid that area, stitch through it once and get out of there, then usually you'll avoid the pleat. It's a really easy trick. So I worked my way out of that weird area, and let's talk through the rules of the design one more time. It's a wiggly line, form a circle, kind of spiral into that circle. It's the best way to describe it. And then now spiral all the way back out again. You hit the straight lines on the edges of your quilting space, just travel stitch along them. And then work your way along the edges, travel stitch and echo, and that's really it. It's just travel stitching and echoing and really enhancing that circular shape. You're expanding that circle so it really stands out nicely on your quilt. So now I've travel stitched down, and I'm going to work out this area. So mostly that's just a feeling of spiraling in. You can do a little extra travel stitching around the circle if you really want it to stand out nicely. And now I'm going to bounce back and forth against this previous swirling water shape, just travel stitching and branching out and echoing. So I've got one last little space here. You can see just how fast this is filled. Some of the designs that we picked for this quilt have been a little slower, and some of the designs have been a little faster, and this is one of the designs that's a little faster. We kept our lines further apart, and you can see just how much faster it flowed. Just quilting into that area, nice gentle curves, hitting them against very minimal travel stitching. I mean, there's a bit, certainly. You know, I have to work along the edges of the space in order to get from one area to another, but really there's not nearly as much travel stitching as what we did like in the feather leaf design, in that flowing leaves design. That was a lot more travel stitching than this, and that is always what adds more time to a design. So you can see just how fast this filled and how beautiful it's going to look on your quilt. So that's it for Poseidon's Eye. Definitely give this one a try and share your pictures on the Leah Day Quilting Facebook group. So that's it for this video. If you'd like to join in the fun, click right here to download this free quilt pattern at leahday.com. We're going to be sharing new machine quilting videos on this project every day this week. So make sure to tune in and check out all of the videos. Make sure to like them and share them with your friends. And you'll definitely learn more about piecing, walking foot quilting, and free motion quilting with this fun project. So check it out at leahday.com/rainbow. And until next time, let's go quilt.